What's up everybody, Weapon X here. Today we have got a brand new developer update for Dead by Daylight. This is part 1 of apparently 2 parts, so we should be getting another developer update soon. And I wanted to bring a video out covering all the new changes that they're going to be implementing to the game. This update gave me hope, and I'll show y'all guys why. Killer updates. The Trapper is getting a buff. So this is going to be really good. Apparently beforehand how it worked is the Trapper would spawn, each trial will spawn between 4 to 6 bear traps at random. Why they ever did that is beyond me. But now 6 traps will always spawn in the game all the time. That's just a fact. That's how it's going to work now. It's really good. And yeah, it makes the game feel more consistent. So you know more or less what you're getting into. Also, Trapper is now going to spawn with 2 traps instead of 1. That's also a really good change because he has a lot of early game setup that hurts him. You know, there's always memes like, oh, you just finished setting down all your traps as Trapper and all the gens just popped. You know, now hopefully that should help with that. As far as add-ons, they're actually changing a bunch of add-ons for a bunch of killers, but right here, these are some of them. Tension Spring, a bear trap resets 2 seconds after a survivor escapes from it. So that's kind of like the Iridescent, but like even better, in my opinion. That's really strong. Trapper Sack. All bear traps are carried at the beginning of the trial instead of spawning on the map. That's crazy. Bear traps cannot be picked up though. Ooh, all right. See, that's a cool one. See, these are good changes for Trapper that make him more interesting to play and also more powerful. So I think overall Trapper getting a buff, that was much needed, a long time coming. And next thing, the Spirit. Spirit caught a nerf. The Spirit has been a strong killer since her release, and with that in mind, we've made some changes that aim to increase her skill ceiling, whilst also giving some survivors counterplay. I agree. You should have survivors should have counterplay. The current state of Spirit, it's just a complete guessing game. I don't really think that's fun for survivors, honestly, and it's not fair to them either. And I say that as a killer main. So it says when close to the Spirit's husk, survivors will not receive any indication the Spirit is phase walking. Originally, this was intended to be a fun mind game. It's a stupid mind game. I've gotten so many kills to it, but it's stupid. It's not a good one. So to add more skill into the Spirit's counterplay, we're making 2 changes. Any survivor within 24 meters of the Spirit will now hear a directional phase sound. This lets you know whether or not she is phasing and also gives you a rough idea of which direction she's coming from. Fantastic. So now survivors aren't left in the dark, and they can actually prepare themselves and know when the Spirit is phasing around them. Because the fact that they couldn't before is just so mind-bogglingly bad, and it makes Spirit artificially good when she normally wouldn't be that good. So I'm interested to see where she's going to fall in the tier list after this. So that's pretty cool. Spirit's footsteps will now kick up dust while she is phasing. Keen survivors may be able to pinpoint where she is, but tall grass and other obstacles may make it difficult. Now this one, I'm going to have to wait and see how this plays out. But honestly, I think this is taking it just a step too far. I think giving them indication that when she's phasing, and at least a directional sound to know more or less where she's coming from is great and needed. But to give them that like visual cue as well, I think that's way too much. I know, I'm calling that right now. I think that's going to be way too much. But we'll have to wait and see. It says, additionally, we've done a pass on some of the Spirit's add-ons to bring them more in line and make the lesser used add-ons more appealing. Like the Trapper, some of these changes are small tweaks while others are completely new effects. And then there are 2 ones right here. For example, the Wakizashi Saya. I'm butchering it. During Yamoka's haunting, use the active ability button to return to the husk and end the haunting. That's cool. That's like adding another layer on top of her power. I think that's pretty interesting. How effective it will be, I'm not sure, but interesting definitely. And then Senko Hanabe. When Yamoka's haunting ends, the Spirit's husk explodes at any vault locations within 4 meters are blocked for 5. That's cool! Dude, it's like Behavior woke up today and they're like, hey, we have a brain, let's use it. It's crazy. They're actually making interesting add-ons. Whether they're good or not is a different story, but interesting, I like that. I like interesting gameplay. I like things that spice it up. Killer add-on updates. So what does moderately mean? How much is more is tremendously compared to considerably? If you ever find yourself in this situation, you're not alone. We use descriptive words like these to keep descriptions simple, but they end up causing just as much confusion since it's not immediately clear how much they're doing. With that in mind, we've done a pass on all killer add-ons to list their exact effects, guys. This is amazing. So now we're actually going to get numbers. So we're not left in the dark by considerably or tremendously. That's huge. That is really huge on all the killers. On top of that, killer add-ons that apply a status effect will now have a brief description of what the status effect does. Thank you. That's going to be really good for newer players. You know, I remember when I started, that would have been super helpful for me. Now I know pretty much all the status effects, but that's a big one. While our designers were going through hundreds of killer add-ons one by one to update their descriptions, they also noted down a few for changes as well. There's far too many to list here, but we changed some add-ons for the following killers: Hillbilly, Nurse, Shape, Hag, Oni, Blight, Wraith, Pig, and Ghostface. I'm so happy that they're doing some for Pig. Michael Myers is probably going to catch a nerf with the Infinite Tombstone. Let's be honest here. Hag, I'm curious to see. Same thing with Blight and Wraith. Oh no. We'll see. And Ghostface. Ghostface needed some add-on reworks because the ones that increase his power recovery speed are the clear winners from him. Says these changes focus mostly on unused add-ons or add-ons that were too weak or / too powerful. Yeah, great. That's fine. Again, this is really good because if they want to have a competitive like based matchmaking, they need to make the game more balanced. And I think this is a step in that direction. So that's fine. I'm all for competitive matchmaking if they balance the game. Like that's perfectly fine with me. Perk updates. So let's see. Vigil. Nice and simple. We're increasing the recovery rate from 10, 15, 20% to 20, 25, 30%. Additionally, Vigil will now increase the recovery rate of the broken, exposed, and oblivious status effects, as well as where applicable in short, more situations where it's useful, and even faster recovery too. Okay. Vigil's not a meta perk, so if they want to make it better, that's fine. I'm all down for that. Babysitter / guardian. Another small tweak, the rescued survivor will now receive a speed boost for 4 to 6 to 8 seconds. In addition to not leaving scratch marks or pools of blood, the aura rating duration has been doubled. Okay. That's better. Again, they're making weaker perks more useful or adding more incentive to even want to bring them. 4 the people can create some amazing moments, but the trade-off of being broken can make it very risky to justify using. We're decreasing the duration of the broken status effects. 110, 190 to 80, 70, and 60. Okay. That's a pretty fat jump, but we'll see how it goes. Hex Retribution would only make a survivor oblivious if they cleanse a dull totem. Now interacting with any totem will make them oblivious. Additionally, we've increased the aura reading duration once a hex totem is cleansed to 15 seconds. Good. Retribution was a pretty butt cheeks hex perk. I'm going to be honest with y'all. Hex Blood Favor. This perk ships with very safe conditions, so it didn't get out of control. Upon reflection, we feel comfortable with removing some of these restrictions. Hex Blood Favor will no longer have a cooldown and will also activate upon successful attacks as well. Cool. All right. That's good. Hex Blood Favor could actually be a really strong perk if they made it better, which they're trying to do. Just like the above, we've added special attacks to Hex Third Seal as well. This should make the perk more practical on killers that focus more on dealing damage with their power. Yeah, so that's good. Something like Nemesis, that would be pretty cool. And then Hex Thrill of the Hunt with boon perks making their way to the game. Oh god. More on this soon. Oh, that's probably going to be the next patch notes developer update. We decided to give Thrill of the Hunt some love by extending the speed penalty from cleansing to blessing as well. Okay. And then item and character kill switch. So this pretty much means that the cliff notes here, whenever something breaks, because they know that things break in this game all the time, they're actually preparing themselves for it now, which is like, it took them long enough. But yeah, so if something breaks, they can just disable the killer / perk or whatever it is, or item, without actually having to push out a full update or, you know, a hot fix. They can just, you know, on the live servers, and it works, and it's fine. Overall, though, you guys, Trapper buff, much needed. Spirit nerf was needed, but I think that second step here was maybe a little bit too much. We'll have to see, though. The add-on pass that they're doing for all these killers seem like they're making the add-ons more interesting to use, which I really like. And then they're taking a look at some really strong perks and really weak perks and kind of bringing them to an even area, or trying to bring them to an even playing field. Overall, guys, great update. This actually has me excited for the game. I'm really curious to see what's going to be in the part 2. Hopefully some pinhead buffs if we're lucky, because I think he just needs a little bit more and he'd be a great killer. But yeah, what do you guys think of this update? I'm curious to know. How do you feel about the spirit being nerfed? This is a big one. I know lots of people are on their fence about it, so I'm curious to see what y'all guys think about it. But yeah, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you found it informational, educational. If you enjoyed it, please consider leaving a like on the video. It helps me out a ton. That being said, I will see y'all guys in the next video. Peace out, guys.